And so if we look at the affordability factor, in February, you could afford $440,000 at 3.76%. And now if you look at that 5%, 5.5%, it just keeps going down and down until you reach 6%, which for the same payment, you would be at $341,000. And so that's
$100,000.
Yeah, it's a $100,000 difference for buyers.
It is June, but we're talking about May stats, right? Woo! Everybody. Woo! I wish that I was excited for applause, but things are changing. We're feeling it out there, right? The government has stepped in and done some things that are really creating some uncertainty in the market, and we are feeling it with lots of things. So we are the Murdoch Manwaring Group. I'm Jeremy Manwaring. And we want to be your economist of choice. And so we want to talk about what's happening locally. Real quick, if anybody watching has ever thought about being in real estate, I think something funny is that if someone ever said you'd be good in real estate, you probably would be. So call us, we'll help you figure it out. We want to talk about stats, but to lead off, one of the reasons things are changing, and we already touched on it, is the interest rates. So we have our local expert on interest rates, Hunter Taylor. Why don't you come talk about what is going on with rates and how that, and then we'll get into how that's affecting stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Jeremy. So as you guys were aware, we had some record low rates at the beginning of the year. And because we had these low rates, people were buying and there was a lot of activity in the market, and it was causing things to kind of get out of control. And so the government stepped in and they, we love to use the term, there was a lot of inflation. And if you follow the news, inflation last week came in at 8.6%. And the reason that we were trying to increase the rates was to curb this inflation. And so hearing that number yesterday just caused a little bit more fear, or last week, caused a little bit more fear in the market and caused the interest rates to increase even further because it's not curbing the inflation like it was supposed to be. And so last Friday, we got that report and it caused the rates to creep over 6%, which is a really big deal when it comes to purchasing a home. And so if we look at the affordability factor, in February, you could afford $440,000 at 3.76%. And now if you look at that 5%, 5.5%, it just keeps going down and down until you reach 6%, which for the same payment, you would be at $341,000. And so that's a
$100,000.
Yeah, it's a $100,000 difference for buyers. And so that's really impacting the market right now with first-time home buyers. I'm pre-qualifying a lot of people and having these conversations, and I'm giving them their monthly payments, and they're just a little bit surprised at what they're coming back at. And it feels like they're having to really consider either that payment or consider going down in price in order to accommodate these lower payments that they're wanting. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean for the future? Well, if we look back to last week, 8.6% inflation, more than likely there's going to be more of an increase, and the feds are going to have to come out and increase those rates at a faster rate than they anticipated before, just because it's not tapering that down like they were anticipating. And so this 6% is a reflection of that. And so if they come out tomorrow, the feds are meeting Wednesday, they're going to be meeting again, and they're going to be determining if they're going to raise these rates even further. And I anticipate that they probably will increase it to that 0.75 of a point, mm-hmm. which would then increase that rate even further and make affordability go down even more. And so it's really a good time to buy right now before those rates go up. Like I've said previously, if rates go up and you lock in at a 6%, you're going to be happy. If they go down, you can always refinance to a 3.5% if they do go back down. And so you still have options. You're not locked in. There's also adjustable rate mortgages that you can get into and products that keep that monthly payment a little bit lower. if your monthly payment's a big deal to you, I mean, obviously you need to feel comfortable with that. So that's just a brief oversight of kind of what's happening in the market today, and a little bit of a forecast as well, with rates continuing to go up to curb that inflation. So.
Yeah. So I might mention something as people look at this, and we always look back and say, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Oh, this is uncertain, so I'm going to wait and see what happens. But most people look at people who make money in a market. It's what the people who take advantage when there is a shift and everyone freezes and waits. And then people go, oh, I'm going to jump in. So right now, cash buyers and investors are going to, let's jump in and grab that. But so I would say, don't wait. Don't wait. If you're like, oh, what's going to happen? Buy your house. And do not start putting money in the pocket of investors and your rent and people that are renting. If you're going to change houses, what happens if you really do want your forever home next year and rates are at 6.5 and 7? Either then you don't get it, or now you're paying more. There's never. This is the long game. It's always worth it. And as inflation goes up and affordability changes with gas and the price of everything else, it's always, as prices go up and rates go up, it's still always the best. The second best time is always today, because the first best time is always before. Don't wait. Don't let this freeze the market. You're going to wish, just like you wished you would have bought Amazon stock at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Right. You'll always wish you would have bought real estate in the past. So it's not the time to freeze.
Yeah, and home prices are still going up, right? I mean, there's still a lot of activity in the market. Investors are still paying cash for homes. And so, for people who think there's going to be, this huge drop, that's not happening. And it may not be at an increase like we saw during COVID times when rates are at 2.5%. Obviously, that fueled the market, but you're going to see a steady increase, albeit not 20%, but 5%, 10%. You're still going to see that increase, and so it's still a good long-term investment, even at the 6% rate. So,
and that's the bottom line with real estate. Real estate is a long-term investment. So if you're looking at buying and you're going to be there for a while, you buy. It's just the way real estate always is.
Don't think of real estate as the stock market.
Yeah. Well, it's just if you're looking at short term, that's why you rent.
Yeah.
If you're going long term, you buy.
Yep.
So
I have a baseball analogy.
Oh, go ahead.
So if you're standing there at the plate, you don't know what pitch is going to come, but you're ready to swing. So when the pitch comes, you got to swing. And if you just stand there and wait and wait and wait, all of a sudden your pitch comes in and you're like, oh, you're out. You had 3 chances. So you got to swing right now. Hunter is telling you the pitch is coming. It's going to get hotter. You better swing right now so that you can at least get on base. You got to get on base, otherwise you're in the dugout.
Yeah, good point.
And exactly, like you said with the Amazon market, right? Like you wish you bought Amazon stock, however many years ago. You're guaranteed to have an increase in your investment. Time in the market beats timing the market every time. It's that interest rates are going to go up. That home prices are going to go up. Why are you waiting to buy something when you know that if you bought it today, it's going to be cheaper than tomorrow? It just does not make sense. You have to buy it.
And we don't want to say we told you so, but we did say rates are going up.
I definitely want to say it.
We've been talking about it for years.
We've been talking about it. So the last thing you mentioned, adjustable rate mortgages. Mm-hmm. They have a fixed period of time associated with that. So if you're going to be in your house 3 to 5 years, you can get a 7-year fixed rate or a 10-year fixed rate. Mm-hmm. Instead of going the 30-year fix, you just fix it for a certain amount of time and it doesn't adjust.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. You have that opportunity, and that's why it takes a consultation with me. We're going to talk about all of your goals and the options that you have to get into this home. Is it a long-term home, or is it going to be a short-term stay where you're maybe 2 to 3 years? And so everyone's situation is a little bit different. And so I try to apply kind of the best mortgage product for you and your current situation, and make it make sense now and in the future. So yeah, it's a good point. Adjustable rates are great at the moment. So
all right, thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the homes sold. Oh, that popped right up on the screen without warning. 4% decrease. This is talking about month over month of May. Last year there was 233. So in the month of May alone, we did see a slight decrease, 4%. And so the uncertainty right now, everyone's feeling, whoa, it's gone from 233. It feels like 50, right? Well, it actually wasn't. It was only a 4% decrease, just a number of houses.
And I think in markets, emotions kind of take charge of things.
Yeah.
And these stats are meant to teach us that, hey, they're not. I mean, there's some scarcity and a little bit of fear in the market, but the numbers say not much is changing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the uncertainty in so the feds will make an adjustment, but then the markets have to react. They don't actually control the market. They just control the lever, and then the market has to anticipate. And that's where you see the uncertainty, because some people project it one way and another way. So, but here's where the price points were that sold in May. You know, we had 140 under 500,000 and 78 homes over 500,000. So the majority of activity is still happening under that 500,000 range, and we're seeing that upper end over 700 kind of, it's not there as much. You know, the affordability with the rates increasing, those buyers are being pushed under that 700,000 mark, it looks
This
like.
is the first month in a while we haven't had anything over $1 million.
There you go.
yeah.
Which, go ahead.
I think one of the things that we're seeing is those people that were up in that, and we talked about it before, the people that were up in the $700 to the $1 million range, they're realizing that's not where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be down here in the low 700s. And so the prices are adjusting. So it's not that values are dropping anywhere else, but in that upper price range, they're kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go back where I was supposed to be, just normalizing and correcting, which is good. That's what we've been wanting for a long time.
And on top of that, I mean, we just said that, you know, affordability with the interest rates has changed $100,000. So if you were in that $1 million range, now you're 900,000.
Yeah.
You know, those buyers that were in the $1 million range are shifting into a different bracket.
Yeah.
And we have our kind of threshold at the $500,000 mark. So everyone that was in the $600,000 mark pushing, like last year when the market was ridiculously hot, is getting pushed back down to that bracket of sub 500,000. So that's why you're seeing just a steady increase and a steady number under that sub 500,000 range.
Yeah.
Forbes put out an article, and luxury home sales are down 18%. And so we are seeing, and I'd say that's a direct correlation with interest rates. I mean, we typically see the luxury market start to stall first.
Well, here's how people are buying homes right now. So those homes that sold, 41 of them, or 18%, were actually all cash. And you can see that the list to sell ratio was 100%, which means it's listed 100, sold for 100. Conventional loans where we had financing involved, the average price was a little bit higher, and the list to sell percentage was 101. So if you were negotiating with a pre-approval instead of a cash offer, then it looks like you probably have to pay a little more, and average days on the market was less. I think that you probably had to pay a little more and jump on it a little quicker.
So people say to me, how the heck does anyone pay $463,000 for a house in cash? You start by the game of Monopoly. You buy a little house, you sacrifice for a bit, and then you buy a bigger one, and then or you turn over, or you buy multiples. So if you look at that and you go, how can I even compete? I'll never be able to buy a house for cash. Yeah, you will. Jump in, swing, hit the ball, get in the market, and then it's just going to build. It's how you build wealth and how you get up there. And guess what? 2 or 3 houses down the road, you're paying $600,000 cash for a house.
Yeah.
If you own a house and you're paying a mortgage, you will be in that position one day.
Yeah.
If you don't own a house, then yeah, you never will be able to buy a $463,000 house.
Or if you don't roll your equity to the next house and upgrade and roll your equity and roll your equity. But if you buy as early as you can and make an affordable house, that will continue to increase. We all bought 10 years ago. You're paying cash for a house now, almost, if you kept that equity. You know, that's how that works. Yeah.
Good. So government loans, there was FHA, 10% of the transactions. VA, or the veterans loan, was 6%. 0 went to Idaho Housing, which is interesting.
So I might mention on this is something different we're doing this month. We have a new opportunity in our MLS system. Is these lists to sell. It used to be they only reported what the house was listed for at the time of getting the offer and then the selling price.
Got it.
They didn't have the original. Now we can report these are the original list price versus the sell price. So you should see that difference if people are wondering, oh my word, are they dropping prices? All of our stats now will reflect original list sell versus final sell.
Got it. Well, let's talk then, because now we know how they bought them and what price points. But what is the market going down? Are there less buyers, or what is happening? The reality is, the year to date, we are flat. one less house in 2022 as in 2021. So the activity is still there, but what is changing? What are we feeling? You know, the interest rates is one, but that's creating all sorts of almost panic or emotion in the market with sellers saying, I better get my house on the market right away because rates are going up and it might be closer to a cliff. So 2022, the price this year is $452,000 on average, a 25% increase over 2021.
Which we're trying to stop that. You know, that's a not sustainable number.
Yeah.
I've had people say, I read this article on the internet. Idaho Falls is overinflated. I read this article. Idaho is overinflated. Boise is overinflated. The reason the value is the house is because people want it's supply and demand. Yeah, the average price is $432,000. That's because we have so much to offer here. People want to live here. People want to continue to live here. Jobs are coming here. All of these. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, Idaho's overinflated. That's just the value of the house.
Yeah.
Well,
We've always been undervalued over the years,
That's
right? We're
exactly
just
what I was
catching
gonna
up to
say.
the rest of the country.
Idaho, we've always been behind on prices,
Yeah.
times in general,
Yeah.
but we're just finally catching up. So
Yeah, and you keep hearing like people say like, oh, this house isn't worth this price or this house isn't worth that much. Well, if you're one person saying that, you know, the house isn't worth that much, but you have 100 buyers that are willing to pay that price that you're not willing to pay, well, the value of that house is what everyone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
If it sells, it is worth it.
exactly, exactly.
So that's what we want to talk about, are the facts, right? All the uncles, whatever anecdotes and advice sometimes apply, but we want to talk about what really is happening, and this is really what is happening. Prices are going up, and we expect they will continue to go up because of the supply and the demand. So the annual average price, you can see from 2017, we're just continuing to increase.
And that right there is a good indication of Nicole's point. How do you buy for cash? That right there, that same house, up and up and up. That is it right there.
So original list to sold percentage, what Jessica was talking about, is in 2021, people priced their home and they got almost 3% more than their original ask price. Right now, we are seeing a bit of a decrease, and we're seeing that because supply is increasing. And so when there's more options and more competition on the supply side, then buyers have more options, and they are not having to pay way over ask price. So year to date in 2022, we are seeing a slight decrease in that. So price reductions. Is this you, Chad?
Sure.
Yeah.
It is
Okay,
now.
so price reductions. How many price reductions have we seen in 2022? This is some very telling information here. So in May, we saw 162 price reductions. In May alone. Year to date, we've had 382 price reductions. Let's compare that with last year. Last year in May, we had 41, and we had 202 for the whole year. Okay, so what are we seeing? We're seeing the effects of simple economics. We're seeing more supply, lessens demand. We're seeing prices we aren't pricing houses higher than the market anymore. We're actually having to adjust the way that we price homes.
So in this, if we take a look at this and we break it simple down, right? It's looking at, these were not closing sale price reductions. We saw from Jeremy, the average price was still over 100% of starting price that they sold for. This is listed price. So the reduction in price does not mean prices are rolling back. It's what they're listing them for to attract a buyer to make an offer, because the real numbers show they are still getting over list price on average for homes.
So this is a very important part of the market. If you're looking at selling a home, you need an agent who knows how to price a home. You need someone that knows how to look at comparables and be able to say, this is the price you recommend. We've been in a market before where basically it's what do you want to list your house for? And you try it out and you got it. Those days are over. I mean, you need to have someone tell you what the home is worth, someone who knows how to do it, and to basically guide you on how to get your home sold, because when there's not a lot of inventory, you can get away with a lot of things. When there is inventory, you have to stand out. And that's the market we're moving into.
And we'll see that in inventory when we look at this. Buyers feel like there's a ton to shop from. We're still in a seller's market, but it feels like there's a ton out there.
Yep. So average days on market, 2021 in May of last year, 16. We moved up one day, 17. It's actually a good thing for our market. So
Single day,
not single
much,
day,
right?
Yeah, it's pretty much flat.
And that
So-
really is a leading indicator of what is going to be changing. So if that doubled or tripled, it might be something.
which we're anticipating with rates going up again.
Yeah.
We are going to start seeing days on market increase.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming next month when we look at this, we're going to actually see this turn.
Yeah.
And days on market's going to be going up, especially June over June.
Yep.
So
We'll see it when we look at the inventory.
yeah, exactly. Yep. So average days on market year to date, we were at 25 last year. We're at 23. So overall, we're still down. But I think we're gonna see that kind of change as we're seeing more houses go on the market. So let's kind of look over the last 5 years. You can kind of see how that's changed from 54 days on market in 2017 down to 22 days in 2021. So anyway, we'll see it. We're steadying out. I mean, in our opinion, we're just moving now to get to a healthy market, whereas the last couple of years has not been a healthy market. So, all right, so a snapshot of sold in May. So overall, Bingham County, Bonneville County, Jefferson counties, you look at those three counties, average price per square foot, if you take the homes that are out there, is about $189 a foot. The average home size is about 2,500 square feet. And the average size of a lot is just over a half acre. So that's kind of what you're seeing sell in this area. Snapshot of May overall, 427 homes came on the market. That's a lot of homes. That's over 100 homes a week that we're seeing pop on. And we were already seeing that it's over 100 homes a week. And last year we were struggling to have 100 total. We're under 100 homes on the market. So anyway, we are definitely getting healthier on our supply. Average list price, however, $526,000. That's higher than our average, but we're seeing them pop up there. That'll be part of our list to sell ratio though, because they're still going on, in my opinion, high, and then they have to be adjusted because you can't trick the market. Nicole.
So when we look at how many homes come on the market, that's typically an indication of builders getting caught up, things like that. So if you're thinking, hey, I've lived in a house since 1970, I've got $300,000 equity, it's a great time to sell that house, use the equity, go find your dream home. Talk to builders. Yeah, exactly. Roll it up because builders are getting caught up. It's for so many years the builders have just been scrambling and there's no new houses, and which has helped, hurt our inventory. And now builders are they're being not proactive. What's the positive? What's the word? Whatever that word is. They are optimistic. That's the word.
Yeah.
They're optimistic. They're continuing to build and continuing to offer to the market, which is optimistic for us because that means we're going to have more inventory. So it's great time to move to Idaho.
Yep. All right, we'll skip on here. So 273 homes went pending in May. And this number I don't like. 21% of all homes that went under contract fell apart. And that was 58 homes. And so, there's got to be more training in our industry to help people understand. There's always going to be deals that fall apart. It's never going to be realistic to have that number be zero, but it shouldn't be 20%. With our team, if you're looking at buying a home, you're going to meet with our buyer's agent. You are going to our listing agent. You're going to meet with them. You're going to be prepared. You're going to have a game plan. You're going to know what to expect, and it's going to be a smoother transaction because 21% of deals falling through means there's some 21% of the people buying are frustrated with the process, and they're not prepared and expecting what's going on.
And because of the market being so hot, there are so many more real estate agents in the market now that are untrained and unskilled and doing it part-time, and you need skills.
Yeah.
These numbers, with a shift, you need skills.
Next month, let's show what our MMC fall apart rate is and just compare that because that's an important thing to realize. We pride ourselves on a low fall apart rate.
We're not fall aparters.
Yeah, we're not fall aparters. Not
way.
us.
MMC, not fall aparters.
Yeah, we are not fall aparters. That's to be a shirt. Okay, currently on the market, we have 480 homes on the market between Bingham, Bonneville, and Jefferson County. What was that number last week?
Yeah, it was.
We changed
No.
that.
This last week we were at 470. It went up 10 over the weekend. When normally it goes down, when I
Yeah.
pull them on Monday, it went up. It actually went up 9 again this morning versus yesterday when I did these.
Yeah. So last month we were at 275, and that's up 74%. I mean, could you imagine if we went up that many next month? If we went to if we were at 700?
Well, what's equilibrium?
Yeah.
We're looking for 6 months, so we're still well below that.
Oh, yeah.
But that much of a jump in 1 month of 74% is substantial.
Yeah.
That's something to watch.
Yeah. So we're at 2 months absorption rate on the market. So basically, we could be hitting, 1,000 homes and still be in a seller's market.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
So
anyway.
in this original current to list, this was what that indicator shows. These homes sitting on the market, what was their original price versus what they're at right now? When we see all those price reductions, that is the true number right there.
It will reflect.
Yep. All right, so average days on market 42, original list to current 98%. So we're at 2 months inventory. Again, that's a number, that absorption rate, it's very important to us. We track it very carefully because we are asked all the time, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Well, when that number is under 5 months, it is a seller's market. When we get to be above 6 months, it is then turned into a buyer's market. There's too much inventory. Let's look at inventory of actives and where things are. We're seeing a little bit more pop up under 200,000. That was a non-existent market for many, many months. But again, we're seeing, from 250 to 500 is our strong point. That's not changing. As you look at days on market, we're going to continue to see these numbers, go up. They kind of evened out a little bit from last month with some of the other ones. But anyway, we're getting more, and they're being spread out in all different price ranges.
So I added months of inventory in each price range this month to show you where you're starting to see that tightening or not tightening and where,
Because we are in a buyer's market, it looks like, 900,000 and over.
Yeah.
Almost 7. I almost feel like once you hit 4 months of inventory, I feel like it feels like a buyer's market. Imagine if you had twice as many homes.
That's definitely the mushy period.
The mushy period.
4
And
to
so
6
that's
months.
getting right there at 700.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'd pretty much say 700,000 up. You're not a strong seller's market.
Yeah.
It is a way different market. So, yep, that's really important. But if we're looking at 700,000 or under, we're still a pretty strong seller's market. So, anyway, but that's interesting, right? Because what are we seeing right now? There's a home that I saw on the market that went on for like $950,000, dropped $100,000 in a couple weeks. The home wasn't priced right, and it only makes it harder. But yeah, you can't get away with that. All right, moving on. So we're looking at current pending listings. There are currently 366 homes that are pending. Average sales price $477,000. The original price to current is 98%. Average price per square foot, 184. Average days on market, 21.
It's the first month we've had less pendings than actives in probably 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Those are good leading percentages of already seeing a lot of adjustment.
So let's look at the city of Idaho Falls. Well, basically, Idaho Falls area. We're going to be in Bonneville County only, and we're looking at the 5 high schools is how we're basically figuring out these stats. So the homes that are within Skyline, IF, Hillcrest, Bonneville, and Thunder Ridge High School. So currently right now, homes sold in May, 139. Idaho Falls is down 10% on homes sold. Homes on the market, 303. That's up.
Huge up.
88%, almost doubled. Average days on market, 35. Original list to current, 98.6. Absorption rate, 2.2. That's healthy. That's a seller's market. But the stat before, looking at certain price ranges, it's not a seller's market in all price categories. 700,000 above, you can write an offer under full price and maybe get a deal. They're overpriced. So many of them. Okay, Idaho Falls inventory and kind of a breakdown here. We're looking at, in the city of Idaho Falls, we are getting close, 700,000 above, to being into that into that buyer's market. We're kind of that equilibrium that we talked about. We're getting close. But overall, it's a healthy market in Idaho Falls. And we're seeing again that main point between 250, 500,000. I mean, that's our sweet spot in this market. So even up to 600,000. Idaho Falls area pending listings, 246. Average price, 484,000. Average price per square foot, 182, and average days on market, they're going quick at 18 days. So anyway, any other comments on those stats?
Other than your prediction of 500,000 in this year, could be close.
Yeah,
Close.
which I gave up on that when rates went up.
Yeah.
Because they don't want it to be there.
Well, you
we
can't
don't
give
want
up
it to
on
be
a
there.
prediction. It was already made.
No retracting.
I could retract it a little bit. So without rates upping, we probably would be like well above
Yeah,
500,000.
yeah.
Well, in Idaho
Yeah.
Falls, we are at the pendings are at 484.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's pending.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Yep.
there you go.
So bottom line, rates are up. It hasn't really affected our market that much yet. We have seen more people put homes on the market because of it. We're assuming that's why. But time will tell. I mean, the feds are saying not enough people are slowing down yet. We're going to raise rates even more, try to control this inflation. But if you look historically, I mean, rates are still historically a very good interest rate, and we know they're going to go up. And you can't go lower once they're up. When you're buying, you can't say, "Hey, rates are at 6%, and you can't go back to 6 once it's at 7, but you can go back to 4 if they ever drop down." So again, we always say, if you're going to buy, you buy. You need to buy. You need to be in the market.
So I might also show this. A lot of people were frozen for a while. I would sell if I had somewhere to buy. I think as inventory goes up, it almost might start to roll a little because they're like, oh, there's more stuff to buy. I might now sell because there's some more opportunities to buy. I mean,
sure.
the buyer's inventory is coming out, the builder's inventory. So that might just start to roll in on itself.
Yep.
Good.
As
Healthy.
we see. Healthy.
It's healthy.
Healthy.
Well, and if I can just comment on with the interest rates, I mean, people have to realize that the last 2 years with these historically low interest rates, it's because of COVID. So prior to COVID, I mean, the interest rates that we have right now was what we were looking at. So a 5, 6, 7% interest rate 5 years ago, that was normal. So getting a 2% interest rate was because of COVID. And once you see we're coming out of that, the interest rates are starting to climb. So people have to shift their mindset.
Get back to normal instead of thinking this is not normal.
Yep.
This is normal. Yeah.
COVID was not normal.
Normal.
Exactly.
COVID was not normal. So in that, at the same time, today, if you look, take a look, people are talking about their property taxes and everyone's property taxes. So it's a good time to talk to us if you have any concerns about that, and we can help you understand how that works.
Yep.
So speaking of our local market, just a little bit of visits from our nosy neighbors this past month. We visited Thunderlicious, which was awesome, a local gal who makes custom-made pants that are stretchy material, which is really very, very cool. Cutting Edge Electric, which they do the jellyfish lights, which are the permanent Christmas lights, which are amazing. But they're also the only place in town that fixes in-ceiling heat, which is a very popular thing in Idaho Falls. If you have in-ceiling heat, they do that.
If your home was built in the 80s, you have
Pretty much
in-ceiling heat.
likely.
Yep.
Likely you have.
And then Screen Graphics is under new ownership, and they are very cool, and they have a lot of really cool products out there. So very cool places. Go take a look at Nosy Neighbors. And we've got some fun ones coming up here. Life Conscious Habit Coaching, which we're big into understanding and developing habits, and she's a really cool habits coach. And then we are interviewing To Ukraine with Love, which is a local charity about the Ukraine, and then we've got some other cool ones coming. So check out Nosy Neighbors. Follow us on social media for all of these market stats. And if you'd like to get these updated, this market stats in your email, go to mmcidaho.com and click on Get the Newsletter at the top. And that's the stats.
Stats.
All right. If you're one of those people that your friends have said that you would be great in real estate, then reach out to us because you probably will be, and let us help you get there.